Now, in marginal costing, what we have is there are certain formula. Based on that, there are certain theories, not exactly theories, there are some applications and problems. Let me ask, what is the meaning of the word marginal? Just 1 second. Now, in marginal costing, what is the why it is called marginal costing, or what do you mean by marginal costing? Can anyone tell me what is the meaning? 10 units, you will get to know the extra additional cost of 2 units. So that itself is the marginal cost. This is the baseline of marginal cost. Now we will be discussing and I'll be asking you certain things. Let me see. How do you feel about it? Can you tell me what you mean by this? What do you mean by this? What is break-even point? Can anybody say something? If you can say something other than the sentence, because I am little tired of hearing this sentence from all my students. No profit, no loss. Other than that, if you
No
have
profit,
anything to
no
say,
loss.
other than that, that's what beginning only I'm telling. Other than that, you try to tell me something.
Should I try, madam?
Try anybody. All are welcome.
Yeah, break-even point is the point where the actual cost, the points where the profit gets starts. Whatever the expenses, fixed expenses, overhead expenses, and whatever the total over expenses meets a particular point.
True. Little more if you can go.
That's it, madam.
That's it. Okay. So can you take an example and tell me like how is it?
Uh, Example. The thing is like machinery. What we, for example, that we brought the machinery for the 10 lakhs. And the material cost will be the producing for the 10 units. The production raw material cost is 5 lakhs for 100 unit. The thing is the break even point we do it for like machinery kind of things where we can get back our money what we invested on the machineries. And so hello.
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm patiently listening. Tell me.
Yes, madam. The thing is, if you brought the machinery for the 10 lakhs and we keep on utilizing for the 3 years, we might get back our money, what we invested in the machineries. After that, the complete machinery will be the in margin of profit, somewhat like that.
See, I think you tried. That is an appreciable attempt what you have tried. But the concepts, I feel it got little jumbled up. Let me just clarify them. So first of all, the first point what you raised before bringing this example into consideration was correct. Say, I have 1 lakh units to produce. Yeah, all wants to say this point. So I'm just quoting on behalf of you. No profit, no loss. This is a general point, but let me just figure it out. Suppose I have 1 lakh units to produce. Correct now? I have 1 lakh units to produce. Okay, no problem. If I say my break even units, where is the copy? Break even units is equal to 25,000. Let me say break even unit is 25,000. Can anyone interpret the sentence? I want that much. Another important point, please remember, marginal costing starts from the group 1 and goes with you throughout the life, if not throughout the life, till you complete your CMA. So if you do not have complete understanding of this particular chapter, I think the whole course will be meaningless. We have a big strength on marginal costing. There is no one term, no one group, no one time where the question has not come from this chapter. So you have to have a complete hold. Later on, you will understand why marginal costing, budgetary control, standard costing are known as techniques of costing. They are not methods of costing, because these are the techniques by using which we can handle something. See, when we use something for handling, for better decision making, for bringing the scenario under control, that is called technique. But method is like a protocol. This is the method you have to do, we will do, that's all. Early morning we have to get up and brush our teeth, then we should have breakfast. This is a protocol, everyone will do. Nobody will have dinner in the morning, nobody will have lunch in the evening. Correct? So there is quite an obvious reason for which they don't do. Now the question comes to the point, how will you interpret this statement? Anybody can give a try that how will I interpret this statement? How will I interpret? कोई टेबल टॉप सामने नहीं है. Yes. Now I can say break-even points 25,000 unit means, can you tell me non-break-even point unit will be how much? 75,000. That is 1 lakh minus 25,000. Now why? Why this non-break-even point unit is 75,000? Okay, so nobody raised any answer. So let me just say, it means that it takes for me or for that company to break even at 25,000. So I should be producing 25,000 units, then only I should be able to cover up my fixed cost. So this sentence, if I interpret, it means that after producing 25,000 units, the company can recover their fixed cost. Otherwise, what will happen? The company won't be able to recover the fixed cost and there will be one or the other thing left out. So once they recover their fixed cost from the 25,001 unit, so from 25,001 unit, the company starts profit. Is it clear? So what is important? Quickly come to the production of 25,000 units, sell it off so that you can cover all your fixed costs. Then from 25,001 unit, you can start making profit. Now let me ask you one more point. Can anyone tell me this? If break-even units are 35,000, is the situation better or worse? Is it worsening or is it bettering? Can anyone tell me? You will write the same sentence. If I ask you to interpret, you will represent and tell me the same sentence. So what will happen? You will see that, okay, it means that after producing 35,000 units, the company can recover their fixed cost. And from 35,000 and first unit, the company starts making profit. All that you will say, but I don't want that to answer. I just want you to make a comparative analysis. Is the second situation or the second example what I took, is it bettering or is it getting worsened? That is my question.
Worse, ma'am.
It is worsening, no. Definitely it is worsening. Why? With or without understanding also you said the right thing. It means that when I am producing 25,000 units, then 75,000 units I am having buffer. But when I am producing 35,000 units, 65,000 units, I am having only for making profit. Anyway, Pritha, it's a good attempt, good trial. Correctly, she said like, yeah, it is getting worse, and because 35,000 units means more the number of units you take to break even, very difficult. Your number of units which will give you profit will come down. Everybody wants to earn profit from more number of units, no? So as quickly as possible, if you can cover up your fixed cost with the break even units, better it is. So break even unit is called no profit, no loss unit. When you are running with the production of this, no, you're absolutely not in a profitable zone, neither in loss nor in profit. The moment you cross the boundary, you have an upward shooting graph. So if you keep on floating on that upward graph, you will be on your profit. And the moment you're not able to maintain that, then you will come down. So this is one concept. Next, let me come to this. I think you guys have heard it. Can you tell me what is this? Is it somehow related with break-even point, margin of safety? Or what is it? Anybody, any attempt, any trial? What is margin of safety? Tell me. Margin of safety refers to, see, in this case, no, it refers to the non-break-even units. So margin of safety refers to non-break-even units. That means whatever units which is coming under the category of non-break-even is called margin of safety. So it is quite obvious that margin of safety should be as larger as possible. Everybody wants to have profit from 75,000 units. Nobody wants to have profit from less number of units. So higher the number of non-break-even units, higher will be the probability of making voluminous profit. So that itself is termed as margin of safety. What is the word? Margin of safety. So your safety margin, if you can make it very broad, further broad, therefore your angle of incidence will become broader. So that's very important for margin of safety concept. So margin of safety is nothing but sales minus break-even sales. So when we talk about margin of safety, then it becomes sales minus break-even sales. See, when I'm explaining you all that, and then after that, when I'll give you the formula, it makes certain sense. Otherwise, if I dump you with the formula and do the problems, it will be above the head. And even if it is within the head, it will be for 1 or 2 days. Later on, you will vomit and forget everything. So that cannot be encouraged in marginal costing. So these are the two concepts we learned. What are they? One is break-even point and the second one is margin of safety. Okay. Let us go to the next. What is shutdown point? Can anyone tell me what is shutdown point? The point at which we will shut down. That is a simple thing to explain that, yes, the point at which we will shut down. But can anyone please explain me? Let it be wrong also. There is no attempt in not rhyme.
Where company can't earn profit,
yes, company can't be on profit and therefore they want to shut down. Good, Girijesh, given a good attempt. Can further anything on that you can say? You're not able to make profit, so you are planning to shut down. This is absolutely a well crafted point. But any example of something if you can quote?
The losses are more, then they can't.
Losses are more. Okay, let me just position you with something proper. Break-even points and shutdown points. So, at what level will you shut down? Let me ask you, if you produce 25,000 units, let us take our example, what we have quoted here, wherein 1 lakh units we have a plan to produce. Let's say that is our install capacity. In that break-even unit is 25,000. Okay, na? So this break-even unit is 25,000. Will you shut down if your number of units produced is 25,000 or more? Or more, definitely you will not. Your answer will be. But I'm asking, if you're producing 25,000 units, are you going to shut down? What is the answer? Definitely no, because I am producing at a level which is giving me neither profit nor loss. It is not giving me profit. It is true. Loss also I am not getting. That is equally true at the same time. So I am not going to shut it down. But how long? Throughout the life I will produce only 25,000. That means I will run in my break even. I can never reach up to the level of profit. Is that warranted? 100% no. Then when I should start becoming a profitable person? When you cross the boundary of 25,000. Let's say a company is producing 19,000, 20,000. No wonder it is more than 22,000 they have ever produced. Got my point? In that condition, every now and then they are below the break-even point. Are they going to continue their business or they will have a decision to shut down? They will decide to shut down. You are understanding pretty well that you are not able to reach the cutoff. Cutoff is nothing but break even. You have to tear the tag, then you can move forward. But you're not able to pen through. That is why you are getting stuck there. Since you are getting stuck there, neither going upward nor coming downward, you're floating on the break even. But this is how bad a situation is. You're not even able to reach the break even point. You're further drowning down. So in that kind of a case, you better take a call. It's not my cup of tea, be it for any reason. So let us shut down. Let us shut down. So when we are shutting down, you please make sure the number of units at which you have taken the decision to shut down should be necessarily below the break-even point. Okay. Number of units should be below the break-even point. Otherwise, you will never shut down. If you are at the break-even point, that means you are floating. A person who is still floating, not getting drowned, forcefully you will not get drowned. No. A person who has already got drowned has no chances of survival. But those who are at least floating, you save them. No, they have chances to survive. So it is like down. So shutdown point means the number of units at which it is much below the BP and company cannot afford to continue because of losses, because of impossibility to recover the cost, what Girijesh has pointed out. That's a good point. This is my shutdown point. These are the key points what we are going to study, and problems are also going to come. Okay, now let me just take you to another important point. Okay, let us give an example. Say sales. You might feel this is of no use. What is this funny game going on? But when you will do the chapter, you will understand that how much important was today's discussion. Okay, let me ask you. So what is this? Sales minus variable cost, and the balance is called contribution. Okay, let me give you the flow chart little more. Okay, fine. Now, can anyone tell me what is fixed cost and what is variable cost? I would like to listen from Vijay if he can highlight something on this.
Actually, fixed cost is nothing but the investment made by the company for the fixed machineries, and the variable cost is like nothing but raw materials, labors, which the cost will be incurred on particular units.
Okay, in a production premise, which type of cost you think will be fixed and which type of cost will be variable, and why?
Machineries are fixed.
No,
And
machinery is a capital asset. Don't
yes,
think about machinery. Machinery is your capital asset. It has nothing to do with the fixed cost. But yes, there are certain expenses which you incur post
okay,
purchase of that capital
yeah,
asset. You can highlight those points and you can just figure out, yes, they are fixed cost, and tell me their names and why are you considering them as a fixed cost in any production atmosphere. See, I'm going to run with the same example. I have an entity which is having a production premise and their 1 lakh units are installed capacity for the production. 25,000 is my break even point. I am trying my best to reach at that level to cover up my fixed cost, because in the long run all costs are variable. There is nothing called fixed cost. This we all know, right? In the
yes,
economy, we have two types of run. One is called long run, one is called short run. Short run means we have both fixed and variable. But in the long run, there is nothing called fixed. Why? Because whatever needs to be covered up, we have all covered up in the short run. When we are moving towards the long run, whatever extra number of units we are producing, for that, no separate incurrence of fixed cost. It is only the related variable cost incurred for the production of those items. Okay. Now, anyway, let us come back to the point and discuss like what is fixed and what is variable. Fixed cost means how many ever units you are producing, increasing, decreasing, doesn't matter, the cost will be incurred. Suppose you are staying at your rented premise. You are not available for 40 days at your premise, you have gone to your native or somewhere. Are you going to tell your landlord that I will not pay the proportionate rent for 40 days after coming back because I was not there? Will you be able to tell, or will the person be in a position to accept the fact? I think neither will fall true. because it is not feasible only. You have not stayed, that is your problem, man. This is my earning I'm making. How can you come and ask me? So that is not possible. So these are your fixed burden, fixed expenses. No circumstances can help you out to reduce it. Only one, close it down. Then it is fine. You leave the house, vacate the property, go somewhere else and leave. Then yes, that rental burden will be saved. What is variable cost? My earning is more, so I am buying more and eating more. My earning somehow it is not helping me to survive with too much of lavishness. I have cut down my expenses. Variable cost, which can be varied, right? As because I am using, say for example, not more than 200-300 MB, so I'm very particular about my mobile recharge pack. I'm not going to invest what is not required. Earlier was like, okay, 2 GB, 3 GB, 4 GB, 5 GB per day also I'm investing. Thousands in a month I'm planning. But now I'm very careful and cautious because I have limited budget to run the family. So what I'm doing, whatever MB I'm going to use, only that much MB related pack I'm going to buy. If it is required 5 rupees per day, yes, I'm very particular. 5 rupees per day I'll be spending, not even 6 rupee also I'll be spending. So I'm that much careful about it. So that is called variable cost, cost which varies when the number of units are changing. So what is this cost? Remains fixed irrespective of output. And what is this? Varies with the number of units. Correct? I'll give you an example to understand. Say for example, I used to give this example more often. Suppose 4 of you are going to a place for a day out, correct? The convents what you will bear will be distributed among 4 people. And 5 of you go to the same place on the very next day in the same vehicle, cost will be shared among 5 people. But the vehicle fellow will not charge more. That is a fixed expense. Same vehicle, same distance, same time, same kilometer. How can he ask for more? One person can sit on lap also, not an issue. He's not going to mind for that. So that is called fixed charge, right? But when you go for per unit, say for example, when you are going for the first day, 4 of you are there. So you have ordered 4 plates. Charges will be plate per unit into 4. Let's say 100 rupees is the plate cost, 400 you spend. Second day 5 of you went. So 100 into 5, 500. So due to increment in the number of head, plate cost has gone up. But one thing is very much same. 100 rupees per unit plus cost, it is remaining the same on the very first day when 4 friends were present. In the very second day when 5 of them were there also, 100 rupees per day remained the same. So one important point you can say, variable cost per unit is always fixed. There is no change. And fixed cost changes after a certain time and per unit varies. Why? First day when you have taken the convents, no, 4 of you were there. Let's say that 200 rupees you paid for convents. 200 was distributed by 4. Each got a share of 50. Second day, 5 joined. Same 200 divided by 5. How much it will be? 40. So the per head cost came down as number of people increased by 1 in the very next day. So variable cost per unit is same, 100 rupees plate charge. 4 members were there, 5 members were there, 6 members were there, doesn't matter. So variable cost per unit is always fixed, is very important. But fixed cost per unit is varying. First day 50 rupees per head, second day 1 person, 1 friend increase 40 rupees per unit. Again, the fixed cost, it is remaining the same irrespective of the number of units. I only said, I am also telling one more important point. That does not mean lifelong it will be same. Throughout the life, your fixed cost will stand like a pillar. That will not happen. Say for example, in a room, you have an accommodation for 10 people. 11 people, 12 people, 13 people, fine, up to 15 also, extra 50% capacity also can be managed. But in the room where 10 people can sit, do you feel there 21 people can sit? No. So if you have a double capacity to accommodate, kindly break open the wall, increase the capacity, put number of more electrical fittings, your cost will go up. What cost? Cost of construction will be there, cost of lighting will go up, service charges will be more, maintenance charge will be more, all fixed cost burden will be more. The same room, if it is let out, rental charge will also be more, right? So that is what these explanations are. Now here let me just ask you one important thing. What is contribution sales ratio? Contribution sales ratio. How to work out contribution by sales into 100? What will be the answer? How much is the contribution? 70 divided by 100 multiply by 100 is equal to how much? Yes, true, 70%. Okay. So contribution sales ratio means how much you are contributing out of your sales. And variable cost means what type of cost? Somebody has pointed out, I think, material cost, labor cost, which is absolutely variable. More units you produce, more cost will be there. So variable cost cannot be considered in total fixed. Suppose if I say 300 rupees in total is the variable cost for 10 kg items, then when you want to find out the variable cost for 15 kg, kindly don't consider it will be 300. You first find out the per unit variable cost and multiply with the new number of units. If that is not possible due to paucity of information in the question, find out the percentage of the variable cost. That is very important. Okay. So we understood in this, from the sales, if I reduce variable cost, I am getting contribution and CSR is equal to 70%. 1 minus CSR is equal to 30%. What is that? 30% is actually what? 30%? 30% is actually 1 minus CSR. What is that called? That is called variable cost ratio. 1 minus CSR is 30%. Why? Because 1 minus, actually I should have written 100. Sorry. 100 minus 70%, 30% is VCR. How can we find out the VCR? Variable cost ratio, that is equal to variable cost divided by sales multiply by 100. Correct na? So VCR means variable cost ratio, VC by sales into 100. So what is your VC? 30. 30 divided by 100 into 100 is 30%. So instead of doing this repeatedly like a childish part, we can just take it into one formula. What is that? 1 minus VCR, 1 minus VCR is equal to CSR. That is, opposite side of the contribution sales ratio is variable cost ratio, which is highlighted in a small example based pattern here. If 100 is the sales and in that if you have 30% variable cost, definitely the balance will be contribution. So if you can get the contribution ratio within no time without calculation, you can figure out your opposite side, that is variable cost ratio. Contribution sales ratio has one more nickname, that is called PV ratio. What is that? Profit volume ratio, that we actually call as PV ratio. Profit volume ratio or contribution sales ratio is nothing but proportion of contribution on sales, and the other side is ratio of variable cost. Okay. So this is also one important point that I wanted to highlight apart from the ones which we have discussed. Now, another important point, so margin of safety, break even, shutdown, VCR, I have discussed. Now, why marginal costing? The whole chapter is studied. Any idea about it? Why the chapter is important? Decision making purpose. You have to take decision by studying the marginal cost chapter. What are the situations where I am supposed to take decisions? Situation enabling to take Which are the situations which enables me to take the decision? Suppose you need to take produce in-house or buy from outside, which in short we call make or buy decision. That is one. Next is expand or contract. Are you going to add one more product, or no, out of 4 products I will be doing production for 3. One I will bring it down and stop. Next, accept an order or not. Accept or accept the order, or you should reject the order. That is also one point. Next, shut down or not. Should you shut down your business, or no, you will keep on continuing your business? So either you can take a decision whether should I make in-house or buy from outside. If outside price is low, no need of producing inside. If inside production cost is less, because don't consider the fixed cost. If your inside production cost is less, then don't buy from outside. You can expand when it is giving profit. You should not when it is not adding to the profitability. If by contraction you can retain the profitability same as before, it is better to contract. You can accept an order if it adds to your profit. If by accepting it is not, then do not accept it. You can aramse reject an order if it is leading to some problem in your production as well as in your business market. You can shut down if you feel it is pertinent, and you may continue to do the business without shutting it down if you feel no, right? Next, and other pricing decisions also. These are the points which actually helps us to study in depth the marginal costing for all this decision making. Okay, so this is some of the important points what I feel I can discuss with you and that I have discussed. Now, let me just give you some formula. First point, sales minus variable cost is equal to contribution. Next, contribution minus fixed cost is equal to either profit or loss. I don't know in which side it will come. It may result in loss as well. Next, PV ratio or contribution sales ratio, that is equal to contribution by sales into 100. Next, 1 minus CSR or PVR is equal to variable cost ratio. Correct? Sometimes you may not be getting the variable cost ratio or PVR by using the simple formula. Suppose I have data for 2 years, first year and second year. I have the data for cost of the 2 years. I have the data for sales in 2 years. I cannot use. That time I have to resort to this. Change in sales, you can say change in profit divided by change in sales is equal to profit volume ratio or contribution sales ratio. Okay, it can be the other side also. When I am telling this, you can also write change in variable cost divided by change in sales. Directly you can get VCR, or 1 minus CSR is equal to VCR. Next, break even in units. How to find out the break even point in units? That's very important. If problem demands, you can find out only in units or in only value, or both in units and value. Break even point is equal to fixed cost divided by per unit contribution. But if I want to find out the value of fixed cost, not number of units like in my example what I took, what is the value? So if it is in value, then it is different. Then it should be fixed cost divided by PV ratio. fixed cost divided by PV ratio. Okay. Next, what is margin of safety? Margin of safety is sales minus break-even sales, or we can say MOS is equal to profit divided by PV ratio. Correct. Next, we have just now studied shutdown point. Fixed cost minus shutdown expenses divided by PV ratio. That is also very important. Shutdown point. Next, if I find out number of units sold, then we can take fixed cost plus desired profit divided by per unit contribution. If there are certain situations wherein you need to find out that. Next, if you find out value of sales, then you can say fixed cost plus desired profit, fixed cost plus desired profit divided by PV ratio. Correct. So these are certain formula what we are interchangeably using in marginal costing. Then you also need to find out sometimes with respect to product mix. Suppose you have 3 to 4 products, A, B, C, D, all are not equally profitable. Find out who is not giving profit too much. In order to understand that, we have to do a summary of contribution for everyone. Then we have to do the ranking for everyone, highest contribution, second highest, third highest, fourth highest. Okay, sometimes be a concept of limiting factor. Anybody knows what is limiting factor? I'll leave within 2-3 minutes. I know sir must be having session now. Limiting factor. What is limiting factor? Limiting factor means if there are certain constraints. Suppose I am telling raw material in short supply. I cannot give too much of raw material. Whatever you want, I cannot give. Maximum 1 lakh units are there. Do how many ever production of units you want. If I say labor hours shortage, that means I cannot give as many labor hours as you want. Only some 500 skillful labor hours are there. You have to manage within that. Okay. So in this case, what we do, we take the best availability of the materials and we try to figure out where the maximum profitability can be reached. That means who are my most profitable products? I will divert the resources to them. And who is my least profitable product, or maybe it's a case out of 4, one is giving loss. I may not have anything available to use it. That time I can decide that let me close that product, and whatever little bit I am getting, let me divert it to the other products. Suppose I am running a bakery along with that ice cream. In summer months I can sell, but in winter nobody is asking for me and my ice cream. Then what should I do? Do not produce ice cream in the winter, no. Whatever inventory holding resources you have, spend that money for more and more production of bakery items like cake and biscuit. People are of much and important need of that. So you should understand that. So raw material, labor, or anything which is in short supply, there are certain constraints. You find out the most profitable product and divert the constraints to that, and then find out which can be the most profitable product mix. So using the above keys, we can design most profitable product mix. Okay. Oh yes, this is a brief of marginal costing. I just wanted to figure it out, like how I can get all of you under one session, and we can just spend some time on this. Yeah, anybody has any questions, you can ask me. Anybody? Pritha.